Welcome, everyone. This is docket 1000 WR111. It's the application of the city of Cedarburg for authority to adjust water rates. This is Michael Newmark, the administrative law judge for the Public Service Commission. We're on Zoom and we have the city connected as well as commission staff, and I believe members of the public as well. So thank you all for joining. We are here today for a public hearing in which we will create the record in the case, and that'll be the documents we identify and verify under oath as exhibits, as well as comments we receive from the utility commission staff and members of the public. So we can take public comments live, and we can also accept comments in writing. They're due no later than Thursday, March 2nd, either filed on the commission's website or by US mail. And the details for doing that are on our notice of hearing. I have that displayed on the screen share, and it's also available on the commission's website. So at this point, we have no written comments on file, but we can still accept those until Thursday. So if you're interested in doing so, please do that. Another part of our process is once we have the record formulated, we'll provide that to the administrator for the Division of Water Utility Regulation and Analysis, and that person will review the record and make a decision on the case. And then a written order will be issued. It'll be emailed to the utility and posted on the commission's website on the IRF system. So that's the basic process. So at this time, we want to view the records we have that have been identified as exhibits that we wish to include in the record. So I'm going to share an email I received from Alex Hanna of commission staff. We'll share that on the screen, and it does list the exhibits from the utility and commission staff. So what we'll need to do is just verify first the utilities filings. And we do have at the top of the list here, there's 7 documents altogether. The top of the list is the customer notice. So that's usually sort of one variety of document, and the others are more technical, the application and data request responses, supplemental information. So let's start off just verifying the notice. So who do we have in Cedarburg for the city that can verify the customer notice?
This is Collins I'm the general manager of Cedarburg Light and Water.
Okay, so it's a little hard to hear you. Maybe if you just speak up a bit, or I don't know if you know where that microphone is located.
Okay, cool.
Great. Okay.
Ben Collins, I'm the general manager of Cedarburg Light and Water.
All right, great. So first, let me swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. So just give us your name, and let me just bring up my screen here that I need. I closed it by accident, so just bear with me a second. And get your name on file here. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead and give us your name one more time, please.
Ben Collins.
Is that C-U-L-L-E-N-S?
E-O-L-L-I-N-S.
Okay, great. And what was your position again?
I'm the general manager.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So in terms of the customer notice, you're familiar with that document?
I am.
Is it complete and correct to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
And was that submitted to customers through bill insert, or was it posted? How did you
Bill insert.
distribute that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Bill insert.
Bills. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So we have that document verified. Are you able to verify the rest of the documents, or do you want to pass that on to somebody else?
I can verify them.
Okay, great. So we have the rest of the documents, 2 through 7 on the list there. And can you see that list in front of you?
I can.
Okay, so it's the rate application, the data request responses, and the supplemental information. Are you familiar with those?
I am.
Are they complete and correct to the best of your knowledge?
They are.
Okay, so we'll put those in the record. Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I do not.
All right. Does anyone else wish to speak on behalf of the utility?
No.
All right, that's fine. So we'll turn to commission staff. We'll start with the revenue requirement. That's Troy Gaza. All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And are you familiar with the revenue requirement exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Is it complete and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
And do you have any comments?
No comments at this time.
Okay. Cost service study and rate design, Alex Hanna. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you familiar with the cost service study and rate design exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Is it complete and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
And do you have any comments?
At this time.
I'm sorry, did you say none?
Yeah, no comments at this time.
Okay, just kind of glitched a little bit on the
Oh.
screen. So
I apologize.
No, it's not your fault. All right, so we do have two other people connected to the hearing. So I'm guessing they're members of the public, and we can take public comments now. So I do have someone connected by phone whose number ends in 526. So just wondered if you do wish to make a live comment, now's the time. Just give us your name.
Sure. My name is Monica Hartl, Hartl.
Okay. Great. And let me swear you. So you're a member of the public, is that right?
I am a member of the public.
Okay, so let me swear you in and you can give your comment. So raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I think I feel that this is a pretty high rate increase. It's about 18% according to, the notice that we were given. I just feel that that is an incredibly high rate increase, especially given that currently we're in a situation where the public is facing a lot of increased expenses, including, food and high rates of inflation. So I don't understand why we need such a high increase. And, there's been increased notices in the past, but this just seems like a really stark jump, an 18% jump increase. And I want that, definitely on the record. And I don't see good reason, listed in our notice as to why that increase is warranted.
Okay. Well, let's get the other comment in, and then perhaps I'll just have the utility give a brief explanation for the drivers of the rate case. So we did have one other person connected here, Akeem.
Yep.
And I just wondered if you're a member of the public, did you wish to make a comment? Oh, there you are. Ready to go? All right. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. So give us your name, please, and your comment.
So Akeem Kevel, I live here in Cedarburg. I, like Monica, received the notice in my bill. I understand, 18%, it does seem high. I'm more here because the reasoning is just so vague in this notice. And, I'm just wanting to find out more details. I see the percentage increase in gross plan investment. What's been invested, I guess, I don't know if we're going to discuss, what that actually means. And then operating expenses, why such a sharp increase in operating expenses from a short time ago, 2020. We're talking 3 years ago since the last rate increase, and it just seems like large numbers. So that's why I'm here today.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so I think if we just can give a brief explanation of the rate case drivers. I don't know if Ben Cullion, do you want to take a stab at that first?
Sure, I can give some color to it, I guess. The utility finance plant that was added to our system, which is approximately $2.2 million, is the new water tower and pump station to feed one of our pressure zones that is necessary to feed some new development, as well as replace some aging infrastructure that's actually being removed, which is a existing water tower that has some concern with lead paint and some other things. So that is being removed. Regarding inflation, everybody is experiencing inflation. We as the utility are experiencing inflation. Everything that we buy is 2 to 3 times more expensive than it was a year to 18 months ago. If you look at just regular inflation numbers across the board.
I'm sorry, we're having a little trouble hearing you.
Sorry, if you look at inflation numbers across the board, you can see them anywhere from 5.5% to 9%. We're seeing those inflation numbers in everything that we purchase.
No, you're fading out. I think
Those direct.
maybe picking up someone else's sounds there.
I can hear somebody walking in the background.
Yes. Go ahead and start with the inflation numbers again, please.
So if you look at regular Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers or any of those inflation numbers, those inflation numbers anywhere between 5.5% and 9% over the year, 2 years, we're seeing those same numbers affect us. And those are the numbers that we have put into the test year. In fact,
No, we're still, whoever's walking around, it seems to be picking up the noise of the shoes instead of your voice. I don't know why it's doing that, but hang on. I think I can point to where we're.
Okay, so then how do I mute myself? Because maybe it was me. Is it *6?
Yes, I can mute you.
Okay.
So I'll do that. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if that was her, but yeah. So we're seeing inflation numbers. You were telling us it was between 5% and 9% over the year.
And when we looked at the revenue requirement, the base revenue requirement or that the commission would use would be 6.5%, or the rate of return, sorry. And we actually settled on 5.5%, which actually is a lower increase than what we could have seen if we used the rate of return that most utilities or that the commission is suggesting. So, and that rate of return takes into account the cost of doing business for most utilities. So we are actually less.
Okay. So there was one word that didn't come through when you were speaking about the water tower. And what I read on the transcription here was that it was light paint, but I don't think that's what you meant to say.
Oh, lead paint.
And that's and where was that lead paint?
That is on a tower that is being taken out of service and decommissioned.
Okay. All right. Great. Just want to make sure we're clear on that. Okay. All right.
Sorry. Am I allowed to just chime in anytime here? It's my first time.
Well, it's not typically our process. We collect your comments and then have the utility respond. Sure. If you have something particular you want to say, I'll let you do it though now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a couple of comments on the tower that's being decommissioned. Do you have any sort of time frame on when that's going to be complete? And it sounds like the lead paint is on the outside of that. Is that the only issue, or there's probably other issues with that water tower?
It is planned to happen this year, to be taken out of service and dismantled. And the lead paint is on the outside, you're correct. And that it is also a very old tower. It's old infrastructure.
Okay. Sure.
And it is, I have some people saying to me, and it's too small for our needs. And it actually doesn't match up where our system expansion is and where the pressure zones lay out.
And then just a question on the new tower. So with the new tower, that one meets the needs and has growth projections for the community as it grows.
Yeah, it does. That was, we hired some consultants to help design that and size that. And actually a lot of that information can be found in our exhibits that were submitted to the PSC.
Okay.
Okay. So just a quick question for staff. So was that part of a construction authorization, the water tower?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the commission did review the need for that and the price, the cost for it, so. Okay. All right, so looks like we have questions asked and answered here. Oh, did you?
I also have a question.
Okay, yeah, go
and
ahead.
This is Monica Hartle. The city has approved a lot of multifamily housing and different housing. The population's increased and that there's new subdivisions all over. So this city, and this is a city-owned utility, is getting a lot more property tax for that, correct? And isn't it getting more revenue to manage the increase in services, all this added building and population growth that the city's approved? So doesn't that factor into, when the city's approving all of this? I mean, now it's like we've approved all this additional usage on our water based on all this additional housing that's happening all over the city. And, now the city then has gotten all this increased revenue from taxes, property taxes and whatnot. And then then it's, as a longtime resident here, then we have to, pitch in apparently and pay for the cost of because you said it's increased usage of these increased demands. So I'm like, why isn't all that increased revenue that the city is getting by approving all these projects covering that increased usage caused by all this approval?
Mm-hmm. Okay, does the city want to address that?
So a couple things go into play with that, and part of that you can see in the exhibits that we submitted was the impact fee study for those new developments and those new commercial and industrial customers as well. There's an impact fee that they actually contribute, and if you look in the rate case filings, you'll see that there's a line item called customer financed plant, and that is the part of the upgrade that is being paid for by these developments and everything else as they are developed, because that is the attributable portion to their demand that they're bringing into the system. And from a tax-based standpoint, yes, we are part of the city, but we are an enterprise fund of the city, so we are financially separate from the city. The utility is a separate entity from the city. Property taxes do not fund utility operations or infrastructure or upgrades. Those are all rate-based activities.
Based on usage. So just curious, in terms of the increased number of customers, that was also factored into how much rates needed to increase?
That's correct.
Yeah, so more demand, the costs are spread out among more customers, but in infrastructure upgrades, to the extent they're not covered by impact fees or contributed by new customers, that's a cost for all utility customers that they need to bear.
That's correct. And more specifically in the cost of service study that Alex prepared, those costs are allocated based on demand and need and usage as well. So it's split in that manner.
So why are the impact fees raised? Because that's obviously not meeting, the impact fees that the new customers are based on their usage is using. Why isn't those impact fees raised to, appropriately reflect the additional usage that all this increased demand is causing?
The impact fee study that was created specifically for these upgrades. So those impact fees are based on the project that was put through construction authorization and approved by the Public Service Commission.
Right, but they're not, obviously, with the impact fees then aren't paying enough for what's actually the ongoing usage of the, using these services and water, right?
No,
I mean, why aren't the impact fees raised? Did we get notice of what this new impact was going to be and what we're going to be, what these construction projects needed to pay in regarding the impact? And this is gonna like roll down to us.
So a residential customer that exists within the utility does not pay an impact fee. A new customer.
No, I get it, but we're
Wait,
impacted.
hang on, Monica, let him answer, please.
Okay.
So I guess maybe I'm not understanding the question completely, but the impact fee was developed based on future need, current development, and the entire project is not just for development. It's for projected growth, usage, and it's also for current usage because we're taking certain infrastructure that is aged out of the system because it's no longer useful anymore and it needs to be replaced.
Okay, but when you're saying growth and usage, those are both hugely impacted by the increased demands from all these projects, correct? These constructed projects over the last years.
The growth in demand is accounted for in the impact fee study that was done. And that study takes into account that growth in demand and attributes that to the impact fees that are charged to those developers and those customers that are adding to the system.
Yeah, so I think the question here is what is their increase to the developers and what's being growth? You know, we're seeing a uniform increase of 18% here, but how have their fees been affected? You know,
so that's actually not a correct statement. It's not a uniform increase. That increase differs among rate classes and among fire protection fees. So an average customer in that notice sees about an 18% increase. A commercial customer or a large industrial user actually sees something more like 30% because they require more demand from that water tower, more storage capacity, and people that have fire protection or need fire protection requires more storage capacity, which is attributable to a tower. And so that is what that it might be a little misleading that it's 18%, but if you actually look in the filing, they actually go through each of the different rate classes and list what it was and what it's going to be based on this and the percentage difference for each of the different rate classes between customers.
It's actually not misleading. It is for residential customers only. That is
Yeah,
stated.
it's
Wait, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that second person.
right.
Mary's clarifying that the notice does state it's for an average residential customer is what that 18%.
Right.
Yeah,
I think maybe the confusion is simply, I mean, in terms of what's driving this rate increase, it's not the costs to develop new infrastructure for new areas. That was covered under the impact fee.
That's
But
correct.
the costs that you identified in terms of usage and inflation, those are costs borne by all users. They're not attributed to specific areas or whether a user is a new user or an old user.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's basically how rates are designed for you know, if someone's contributing plant or someone's paying an impact fee to develop new infrastructure, that's in one bucket that doesn't get, that's basically a savings, or it's something that's offset from this rate case. It's not, doesn't impact this rate case. But in the rate case itself, we're looking at costs to use the system or to upgrade the system for aging infrastructure that all customers use. So those are the costs that are involved in the rate.
He said that was one of the things, but the other two out of the three prongs were the increased growth and the increased usage. So I would beg to differ that, but the increased growth and the increased usage is a huge part of why we have this rate increase.
Right, because we stated at the beginning of the call that the reason why you needed a new water tower was for not only replacing this old water tower to handle current usage, but also as a future thinking about future developments, future expenses, and future demand that the new water tower is going to handle. So I think what Monica and I are really trying to ask here is, it seems like this is all just being passed down as a monthly rate increase, what is the rate increase for the impact bucket, as that next new development comes in? What's that increase to that fee to that developer?
So previous to this, there was not an impact fee. Well, there was not an impact fee that was representative of the water tower, let's just say, or the booster station. We had a new study done, which actually changed impact fees moving forward. And that was approved as part of the construction authorization to the PSC. And so when a developer comes in and wants to develop something, they actually pay that as a one-time lump sum to the utility for that new growth. And that is in the notice, you'll see there's customer financed plant. That is the customer finance plant portion, is that impact fee.
Yeah.
I'm concerned it doesn't accurately reflect, other than that one time, it doesn't accurately reflect what their actual impact and usage will be down the road.
So maybe, from what I know, I'm no expert in this, but I have been listening to these cases for 20 years. So I think maybe what may be the confusion is that once a customer is connected to the system, they're treated like any other customer. So the impact fee is to say, before you connect, your planned development is going to cause certain costs that we're going to recover from you directly up front. But once you're put in the system, you're treated like any other customer. So that now if you project future growth or future demand, that's looking at all customers and all.
No, I get
all
it, and that's
existing
getting
customers.
borne by existing customers are bearing that cost.
Yeah.
Like we've decided, here's your fee to start out with, and then after that, we're going to spread it out over everybody else.
Right, because everyone's treated the same. Yes, that's right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like here, we've done that. You've got this one-time fee, and then after that, the rest of us have to bear your ongoing usage and ongoing demand and whatever else has to happen to make this work.
Right, everyone bears the cost of service. So once you're connected, then everyone bears the costs together.
Yeah. So what the recourse of those of us in the public who then have to bear the cost of all these improved projects that the city gets a lot more tax revenue for, they just say,
everyone benefits
separate from the utility.
Okay, hang on.
Separate from the utility.
Hang on, I understand your
know.
point, and you've made it before. But what I'm going to say is that everyone benefits from system upgrades. Once you're connected and the developers have paid the fee to connect, going forward, if there's system upgrades, everyone benefits and everyone pays. That's my understanding of the process.
I don't think I benefit 18%.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Maybe I benefit 5%.
I understand, and that's why we have you here to make your comment, and the decision maker will hear that. But I think your point has been made that you do not agree with how that's calculated, and you do not agree with how those costs are divided up. But so at this point, I think we have all we need in terms of getting comments and getting the record created and established here. I think the decision maker will be able to review the comments and the evidence in the case and make a decision based on that, including your understanding of the process and where you come out with, how you would decide this. So I think the record's complete on that score, and I do appreciate you bringing that up and being able to contribute that opinion to the case. But I think we have what we need in terms of getting that presented to the decision maker. So let me just ask, is there anything else we need to discuss? All right. So thanks very much. We'll forward this off to the decision maker. Is that going to be Andy Galvin? Okay, and Andy Galvin's our new division administrator for Division of Water Utility Regulation Analysis. So he'll receive the record and make a decision in the case. Then the order will be issued. It'll be emailed to the utility and put on the commission's website. So appreciate everyone's contributions here and their participation today. And thanks very much. We're adjourned.
I have a quick question for you. This is
Yeah,
Ben.
who's that?
uh,
Ben, yeah, go ahead.
Utility. Will we be able to request a date in which we can put these right into effect? And when do you think that decision will be made?
Okay, I think I'll pass that answer to Alex, who's familiar with that process. Go ahead.
Yep. So if approved, you should receive an email of the order. I can't give you a timeline. Typically, it's 2 to 3 weeks, but it all really depends on the rate case, especially when we do receive public comments. So more will be looked into that. But if the rates are approved, in that email, there will be information on how to implement your rates. Typically, utilities have 1 to 90 days, 90, to place those new rates into effect. But again, in that email, there'll be more information on that.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Take care.